Welcome back to another episode of the Prophetic Podcast, episode 62.
Man, 62, bro.
Yeah, good to see
Almost at that
you.
100-mile mark.
That actually is interesting to me.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I don't even
Top
know.
of the year, so you gonna hit that thing.
Yeah, at the rate that we're going right now, if you decide to keep on hanging out with me, which would be great, be awesome. Yeah, that 100-mile mark will be there fast. I don't even know what. Bro, you look back over the past 2 years, I don't even know what I've been doing. It's just been like it goes so fast, bro. Like, and you'll see it with your show too. Like, it goes fast.
I mean, the years by itself just going by fast.
So imagine if you're shooting throughout and you tweaking and tinkering, like
you're getting a lot done.
Yeah,
In a blur though.
Yeah. I got to go to some events coming up for the show too, which is gonna be cool. Got some things like really coming up that I'm really happy about.
Yeah.
The growth has been there. Everything's kind of going. Like, I was at this event at this mixer at the studio a few weeks back, and the dude told me, he's like, man, like that 3 to 5 year mark is a sweet spot. He's like, once you hit that, you'll start kind of finding your way. He's like, you'll find your voice and what really works, and like you'll have your audience, your crowd, that'll start to grow. He's like, you just got to stick it out for like that 3 to 5 year mark, and boom, like you'll find it. I was like, that's cool, because this starts year 3 for us, technically. So,
And that's playing the long game.
it is a long game. It is. Ooh,
And
you're
that's
not
not
supposed to be cussing. It is.
And that's not really coming in with just like, just a whole bunch of different strategies that you come into the game trying to implement and really trying to grow and develop a page as fast as possible. That's more so. Like, that's why I say the long game. It's more so doing your thing, refining your thing, perfecting your thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I like that you always have. I meant to commend you this on the last episode. You always call me with like really dope ideas. Like you really help navigate this thing, because I know you and your wife do a lot of stuff in the social world, and I am kind of solo dolo on that mission, right? So not really solo, but I have a team that helps. But a lot of times, like, you just want someone else that's like just as gung ho about the stuff as you are, because that it puts a different energy, especially when like you got ideas and I got ideas and we're collaborating. Like, a lot of black men don't collaborate. We always got to get it on our own. You know what I mean? Like, you see it all the time. Like, we don't ever just come together and say, "Hey, man, I got this dope idea." And you even preface it like respectfully, like, "Hey, man, I know it's your show, but like, I don't think I would move that way or this way." And I never tell you no. Like, I'm like, all right, if it's a good idea, it makes sense, let's do it. So I just want to tell you I appreciate you with all this stuff, man. It's been really, really cool.
Yeah, for sure, man. No doubt. And much obliged, man. I appreciate just even the opportunity.
Yeah, this is cool.
To keep doing something that I want to actually do. And you gracefully sharing your platform.
Yeah, man. No, you've been dope, man. I appreciate it. So what's been up other than last time? Everything's pretty much the same.
I don't know. The only thing I can think of right now is how white folks band together. They can be. They can be hard.
I wish y'all could see Becky's face. She turned her head so fast.
White folks can be hardcore going at it, bro. Going at each other's throat. You son of. Talking crazy to each other.
Yes, but when it comes to the money,
or when it comes to the power,
ain't nothing getting out.
They say, "Hold on, wait a minute, hold on now, Jim. Now this is going to impact a greater good for all of us now."
Because to be quite honest, they are thinking generationally at all times. We are thinking short-sighted because it's historically how it's been taught to us or how we've experienced it. So that's really what it is. They've grown up with generational wealth.
Yeah, the only generation we grown up with is generation tequila. It's generación, really. But if you look at it, it look like it's spelled as generation.
Not that I'm saying every single white person has had generation, because I know it'd be like, well, I'm still broke. Okay, what I'm saying is there has historically been advantages that we just haven't had in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and we base it off percentages, not the individual person.
Yeah, not the individual person. Yeah. No, but I'm glad that we can band together. I want a conglomerate in Dallas. I love that, bro. I would love to have a podcast allegiance out here where like we all can get together. Now, not saying I'm taking money out of your pocket. You're not taking money out of my pocket. I'm not taking away from your platform. You're not taking away from mine. Like, it's my thing, it's your thing. Like, and if we decide to get together and do a thing, it's that thing. So so
in the digital space, everybody get a chance to win.
Exactly. And so a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people think it's like territorial, like it's a block. There is no digital block unless you're talking blockchain, and even then we can all win. So like, there's no way that you could not have your own space now. It's a different world. It's not on the ground. It's like, it's virtual. You can't. So I'm just happy we could do that, man. I would love to have that in Dallas where we can all get together, make money, help each other grow. Like you see that in New York, you see that in like LA, Chicago, like Dallas needs that conglomerate though. But yeah, other than that, man, just I've been being a dad and single, and that's it, man. Like no weirdo stuff, no weird messages, no contrary to popular belief, no weird messages, no nothing. It's just been me, man. Just been me. But where we left off last time is you were talking about.
They was saying they was trying to figure out if you was out in them streets again.
Who?
Well,
I think she wanted. We're talking about the same person again. I think she wanted me to tag
them streets.
She wanted me to tag whoever it was so she could, like a measuring stick. I think that's really what it was. I think she just didn't, because she was like, "Well, tag her, tag who?" I'm not tagging nobody. We're not doing all that. I'm never going. There's no. She did. I'm never doing that. I'm never doing any of that. That's not gonna happen. The stories can be told, but you don't have to know who it was. That's just what it is. Yeah, that's just me being a gentleman, man. I'm respectful. But where we left off was you and your wife pausing on physicality to focus more on the relationship.
Had to, bro.
Tell me more about that.
Needed that clarity, bro. Making a willful, conscious decision to be abstinent for that period of time to leading up to getting married. I mean, it was a really good decision in my personal experience because it gave me a lot of clarity. It helped me to, at the end of the day, determine if I was about to commit to somebody that I really didn't like or that I really couldn't see myself being with forever. Not just a long time, because we can go for by 20 plus and then, end it after the nah, forever, bro. We trying to be locked in until one of us croak over.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it really put me in a position to think that I was making the best decision, and we've been married for 5 years at this point. So yeah,
congrats. That's cool.
Kind of worked out like that.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
And this has been the longest relationship I've ever been in. It's been the easiest relationship I've ever been in. Like, my marriage has been easier than previous relationships with just girls I was dating.
That's a question for you, because I've never been married, so I want to ask you this question: when it feels that easy, do you think that is indicative of the person that you probably should be with? Because sometimes it can feel easy and that be wrong.
Yeah.
And I mean, that could also be attributed to you not digging deep enough, as we spoke about before. Mm-hmm. But my question for you is, like, how do you know if it's that person? Is it because it's that easy? Like, what do you think?
In my personal experience, it was a combination of, when I say easy, I don't mean that
it was a breeze.
Peaches and
cream. I got you. Yeah.
It's just that the way that we tackle issues together and all of that makes the issues seem easy, easier than they would if done by myself or, in another way. But the main thing for us was establishing a foundation. So as far as how I think and how my worldview is, I wanted to make sure that hers was in alignment with mine. Now, if it isn't, I'm not going to try to change you or make yours line up with mine. Mm-hmm. If it is, then,
cool. Right.
Thank God.
Yeah.
We'll just keep it pushing from there. Well, ironically, her worldview and mine didn't line up.
Oh, really?
Nah.
Like in what way? I didn't know that. What way?
Like, even just from the religious standpoint, me being Christian in my chosen faith, and her being just confused. Nah, I'm just joking. But her just being
you gonna sit on the couch?
her being raised Catholic, and so
Now, forgive me for being ignorant, but Catholicism, is it not under the same umbrella? Is it not in Christianity?
There's similarities, but
it's a sector of Christianity, basically.
I wouldn't call it that.
Really?
No.
Is it not Christian?
Nah, I wouldn't even call it that from a bibliocentric standpoint. Like from a theological standpoint, I definitely wouldn't call it that. I mean, I understand.
So then Catholicism is basically its own thing, essentially.
Because look, I understand why people.
And we're on a tangent now, y'all. Just follow this. Just stay on the path with us. We're gonna get back. We good.
People like to kind of like lump things together and all of that, as if Catholicism can't be a branch off of Christianity.
But if you think about it, they always say Judaism,
which isn't Christianity.
Right. It's different. Right. It's Jewish, right? You'll say Hinduism, Buddhism. You'll say Catholic. Well, I don't know. Well, I guess it would be. But you think of Catholicism in association with Christianity because a lot of the teachings are similar. But you would say that, or you would say Islam, or Muslim. So I'm thinking that Catholicism is. I'm thinking that Catholicism is Christian based. Like I've always thought of it as being that. And so maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, it can have Christian influence, like a lot of things can have Christian influence and not be Christian.
So it's its own thing, basically.
It's definitely its own thing because at the end of the day, the doctrines differ. And we're talking about, the argument is we're talking about what we believe to be complete truth, not fragmented truth, not deviated truth,
Right.
Not a branch of truth. Like, nah, so your pursuit as an individual should be total truth.
Right.
Like if you're pursuing something, if you're pursuing God, like finding out if there's a God that exists, et cetera, or whatever, like you should be looking for total truth, not just a portion of truth.
So then where was what was the fork in the road for that? Like,
So with the relationship piece, she was raised Catholic, and
Okay.
I'm Christian. I officially think I became like a real Christian around 2010. I was raised in church, but I don't think I was like a actual like Christian.
Devout.
Nah,
Yeah.
not even devout, like knowledgeable. I didn't even know nothing about it. Jesus died on the cross for my sins. That was basically it. Wow, how, what? No, none of that.
No context.
So like,
Yeah.
2010 that changed, but with her, she was just raised that way. Like she wasn't practicing no type of nothing, and like when we first got together, she asked me a funny question one day. Like she would notice on like Sunday mornings, I'd be like dipping out early. I'd be gone. She worked at my apartment complex.
I remember that.
She eventually got an apartment like where I live, where she worked and where I live.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, "Man, where you be leaving?"
Wait, how does because she would be
Sunday
hanging out with you and you just be dipping?
I'd be gone. Like,
Okay, yeah.
Or like we'll hang out like the night before or whatever, and then she'll hit me up the next morning. I'm moving around like I'm
busy already.
gone.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
Like, dang, like bro, what you be doing on Sunday mornings? I'm like, fam, are you serious? What else am I gonna be doing on Sunday morning? But that's the
Yeah.
culture I come from.
Yeah, it's
just
early.
Like, that's like duh.
Hey,
Like,
wait,
you
y'all.
don't do one thing on
Wait.
Sunday.
Were y'all 8:00 service or 11:00 service?
Bro, and I was on at the time when she first met me. I think I was going to both. I think I was serving at one.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
was attending the other.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'm at the 8 o'clock, but I'm showing up to the church at like 6:30.
Yep.
Getting ready because I'm serving the first
Yeah.
and I'm watching the second, then I'm leaving. But yeah, so she just kind of like, dang, so that was pretty funny. But I never was like, hey, you want to come to church with me, or hey, you want to learn my religion? Like none of that, bro. Like I was just doing my thing, and she just had a natural curiosity or whatever. So she was like, hey, can I come with you like to church one day? Can I come with you on a Sunday or whatever? I was like,
Let me ask you a question. This is a sidebar question. Isn't it kind of cool when you meet somebody that, and not that this is for anybody to say you have to be religious, but if religion has been a part of your childhood, I'm sure it was for you.
sure.
Like, yeah, we had the same experience with that. It is kind of cool when you meet somebody that is kind of interested in it and not forceful with it. Not like you need to be this or else. Like, a lot of Christianity, a lot of religion is weaponized. Not that they're trying to weaponize and use it against you, but it's an interest. Like, it's just almost the same as if we're going hiking or going to the gym, or it's just another interest that you could add to the list. I think that's kind of cool. I think it makes it a little bit easier to kind of say, okay, so if you got that one piece, we might actually be all right, because I'm not going to lie to you. Most people I've encountered, they ain't a part of the conversation at all, bro. Like,
Trust me,
they ain't trying to pray for you, pray with you, pray nothing. It's just not a part of the conversation.
Pray on you.
Nothing. Yeah, that part. PREY. Yeah, exactly. So,
for sure.
yeah, go ahead. I'm good. Go ahead.
Well, like if I was to think about my previous relationships before that, and I think about you mentioned, you said weaponized. Like it's crazy because being uneducated and lacking experience, I found when I look back on my earlier days, so it's before 2010 especially, I'm totally lost. I'm just in the world, just doing anything. Like it's just I'm doing whatever was modeled, I'm doing whatever I find interesting, I'm doing with the crowd. I'm just kind of just in the mix.
Out here.
First time away from home,
Yeah.
like for real, on my own, from the country, big city, all of that. So it's just whatever. After 2010, I started going to this church or whatever, and from 2010 to at least 2017, like man, my walk was wild. Like, you know, because you still really, you trying to unlearn things and you trying to practice new things. However,
you still doing the wrong thing. Yeah.
The unlearning part. So what I was getting was this. So like, because of triggers, personality, whatever, I'm not really like a social butterfly, so I'm an introvert. So when I first started going to the church and all of that, I'm really just going and I'm receiving, and I'm such an introvert though, like I'm not really like bonding, connecting, or reaching out to nobody around me. I ain't making no friends, I ain't doing none of that. I'm in, I'm out, and I'm on with my day. So for the first couple years, like several years after conversion, I'm like learning a lot, but I'm not really unlearning much. So I'm really like just still wilding out for real because my understanding still ain't really clear. So then around like 2017 and all of that, like things started kind of actually like clicking for me in a personal way after I started actually applying myself and all of that. And so then really hard and heavy, like the previous episode, that emotional intelligence and stuff started getting awakened. And then I started being able to not only see the error in my ways in the present tense, but like I was able to look back at how I was, and I was like, dang. So I started seeing like all like the wild ways about myself and stuff. So by the time I get up to meeting my wife, I'm pretty much like I'm ready to
relinquish yourself all the BS, basically. Yeah,
pretty much like let a lot of that stuff go and all of that. Didn't do it perfectly, but all of that kind of put me in a position. And then, of course, like you mentioned, with her just kind of having a natural inclination to really just curiosity about like my religion, just all of that, and her just wanting to go to church and whatever. And she just kind of made her own decision and did her own thing. I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy. So I started thinking, dang, this relationship might be divine. Like, man. So all of those little things really kind of helped me when I started thinking about, okay, man, hold on. Let me just make sure I'm not just tripping. Let me just do the ultimate test.
Stop doing the physical like, part.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you this. Like, honestly, I respect that though, because it's hard. Most encounters I've had with women has been, a lot of it's been in person, in the same area, or whatever. So it's really easy to have the physical part. It's really easy to get into the physical part before you get into anything that's really important. And sometimes it'll happen like later down the line, but it's still, to me, not that it's too soon, but it depends on how deep you've dove into that whole interaction. If you have like really like carved out a space for this person to where you can be vulnerable and have these real conversations to where you really know if you align, then when the sex happens, cool. Like it's kind of a natural progression. But a lot of times it's like the innate response to meeting on what you find attractive in that moment, and then boom, you're just after it. Like it could be a couple dates, and then here we are. But then I quickly found that, I'm back in the same headspace. So like, I don't know this person. Like I'm really not really emotionally attached to this person. I'm physically attached to this person, but I'm not getting anything from it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So like, to find yourself in a space like you did where you say, I'm going to stop the physical part, that means, okay, I'm moving with intention now. Like the physical part is going to be there. It's kind of like, it's kind of the same vein. If I invest in this stock for long enough, it's going to pay me at some point, right? So why am I going to think about that so much? Let me just focus on what really matters. And once you did that, then look, you've been married, 5 years now?
Yeah.
So it means that was actually really probably an important point for that relationship to do that.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely an important point, bro. But it's like, in my particular experience, I thought that I could kind of cheat a little bit. And what I mean by cheat is like,
please clarify.
So we'll do the celibacy thing, but I'm still watching porn. So there was still a form of like being satisfied.
Can I be honest? I don't watch porn.
That's a good thing.
Like, bro. I haven't watched porn. Like I've tried to watch porn in the past several years. Yeah. And I just get this. It's weird. I get disgusted, and it's not like I'm not interested in what I'm interested in. It's just like, for some reason, for me, it's really the in-person interaction with a person that I'm connected to that really gets me, really, not to be weird or anything, but that's what turns me on. I have to be into this person in person. Yeah, like I can't just be like watching porn or like, you know what I mean? Like, even if we FaceTime all that, that's great, that's cool. That's still to me a connection. But
sure.
I'm saying just some arbitrary porn like visual, it just don't do nothing for me no more.
Nah, I feel you.
Even coming from another person. Let's say I'm not interested in you, and you send me some nude. I'm just cool, thank you, but I'm not there. Like, it does nothing. I could literally swipe, delete that message, and move on. I can't do that. I gotta have. Excuse me. I gotta have a connection now. That's the only way it works for me. So
I feel it, bro.
yeah.
I think with me, because college was so filled with, at least like my first 2 years of college, man, I was really hoeing real strong. Real strong, bro.
Becky, did you hear what he just said? Okay, I'm glad we got that.
And I mean, it was what it was. But I'm out there being a whore while also having anxiety, while also not being taught like how to even just like properly please a woman. So I'm being spoon fed by porn because I can't just be out here just
now.
Like,
kudos to porn because
crazy.
it will make you be adventurous, and sometimes adventure is a positive thing. So porn isn't all the way bad. But
see, I wasn't just totally looking for the adventure. I was looking for what a man never taught me. So
you're seeking for something you never had.
That was the easiest way for me to, kind of figure it out without sounding weird or being, or like, who am I as? Like,
The only thing I ever got taught about sex from my dad. I still love you, Dad. We don't have a relationship, but you're great. He taught me. He taught me two things. He said, "You shake well because you don't want a yellow stain on your underwear because girls don't like that." I am like 7 when I'm learning this, so what the hell do I know about girls and shaking my? I'm just learning how to pee straight. You're a kid, like you don't know. And then he taught me at the same conversation that if you do happen to get a girlfriend, it's gas, grass, or ass, or they can't get in your vehicle. That's it. Those are my 2 life lessons from my dad. Yeah, great parenting. So I didn't have a man telling me anything about emotional intelligence, sex, any of that stuff. So a lot of that stuff you're figuring out on your own on the fly, to be honest. Like my 20s, it was just me figuring it out.
For sure.
A lot of those mistakes because I just didn't have any real guidance. So yeah.
For sure. So I think I kind of got tangled up with the whole like early on, like I was mentioning, like college and all of that. I'm going so hard in the paint. But at the same time, like I say, anxiety, bro. Like, so if you really think about that, if you have anxiety, actual anxiety, people just be saying it all day long. I got anxiety. No. Like, if you actually have like medically diagnosed anxiety, and you don't know you have it, and it's untreated, and you going through the symptoms of like anxiety, doing something that the culture and the people around you telling you should be doing, it's celebrated doing, it's encouraged to be doing, and all of that is just like it's just like a continuous cycle of just kind of like self-inflicting harm, so to speak, because the anxiety kind of going haywire after a while, and your understanding still hasn't been filled. You still kind of lacking the understanding and like what you doing, why you doing, how you doing, etc. So I think that fast forward down the line, it was easier for me to watch porn at that point as opposed to being like in person with different chicks and stuff like that, because
trial and
I
error,
felt like
basically, yeah.
I done did that, and I did it enough to where I was kind of good on that. So it's like, okay, I done that. Well, this is way more safe. It's way easier. You can't get nobody pregnant. You can't catch no disease. You know what I'm saying? And all of that. So
and you have to save yourself the embarrassment, not knowing what the hell you're doing.
That as well,
yeah.
bro. So when you combine all of that, man, all it really did was really set me up for difficulties, like even in my marriage, in my marriage relationship, because again, you're still like unlearning bad habits, unlearning patterns.
By the way, to piggyback on something you said, sexual anxiety is real.
Very real.
And porn will make you have sexual anxiety because you're like, I don't have that.
Especially years worth of porn.
Like I don't have that. I don't have that. I don't have the experience. I don't look like that. I don't like that. Like I just don't. That's not me. Like I want to do all those things, but like, and this is just being, men won't ever say this, but truthfully, like if you're watching porn, you should have anxiety because you're not going to be that. That's his job. You can, but what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying? Like,
see, the only thing if I was watching it, the only thing I have anxiety is like, man, boy, my stamina ain't like Jason Love appears to be right about now.
again, that's his job.
It is a job, right? But we don't think about that.
Yeah, no. That's his
this
job.
Is his literal job. They using all.
That would be no different than me saying,
whatever.
well, I can't jump like that and dunk like that. And I can't run that fast. Well, that's their job. That's what they do all day, every day.
For sure.
As a normal, everyday human, because no matter who you are in this spectrum, unless you're like at that level, like, I mean, not saying you're average, but that's not your job. Yeah. But it will give you anxiety.
And we live in a comparison culture also.
We kind of do.
Heavily heavy comparison culture. Yeah. So whether you think about it or not, like comparison is knocking on the door of your subconscious all day, every day.
Yeah.
Especially with social media. So if you're not careful, if you're not mindful of different things, like, yeah, you easily get caught up in traps, but you know, that's where the emotional intelligence and all that stuff come in, you know, so you can kind of decipher between intrusive thoughts that really serve no value and that really like deceptive thoughts in comparison to being able to speak truth to yourself about yourself, you know, in different moments. So yeah, bro.
So marriage now. How intentional are you now that you're 5 years into it? How has that changed? Are you even more intentional or less?
About my marriage?
Does it ever dwindle?
Oh, no. And that ain't even no cap, bro. Like, nah.
No, I mean, I've been because I didn't mean to ask you all these questions about marriage today, but I'm just curious.
Bro, my marriage today, bro, is like, it's like, I was trying to think of the comparison about,
comparison
adding
culture.
some good, comparison.
Yeah.
Adding some good rebar into some cement mix.
Okay, I was like, where are we going with this?
when you're making a foundation.
Right,
basically.
right.
So like when you pouring a foundation, bro, with concrete, if you don't add rebar and you just pouring concrete and it hardens and all of that, okay, you got a slab, but it's gonna give eventually. It's gonna crack. It's gonna shift because the foundation likely isn't gonna be sustainable.
And you know what the rebar is?
The strengthening mechanism, right?
Do you know what that is?
What is that?
That's intentionality.
It is intentionality.
Honesty, vulnerability, openness.
For sure.
Reducing your ego.
Got to.
You can't have ego about anything. I think that's part of it too. Like all that stuff is the human experience in its rebar. That's what that is.
For sure.
If you don't have that, then that slab that you speak of, which would be a hollow relationship for all you people out there that go into these hollow relationships, I'm sure we've all had them, it's going to crack.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And if you look around your relationship right now, it might be cracking. But it's because you don't have the rebar.
Yeah, definitely, bro. With that rebar, bro, like at this point in the relationship, bro, my relationship is easier now. It's even more transparent now. It's even more vulnerable. It's even more honest. I feel like my wife is still peeling off like little subtle layers and becoming just more and more comfortable with just existing with and around me, and vice versa.
Right.
So yeah, like I say, when I say that being in this marriage, married to this person, has been like the easiest thing I've literally ever done. She makes it easy, bro, because we're both committed to being better in general.
That is the key.
That's the easy part, bro. That's what makes everything else easy.
To be honest, that actually is the easy part. But if you don't have that, everything surrounding that becomes more difficult.
For sure, absolutely.
Every single thing around that. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's just being in the same space together.
Yeah. Because it's going to throw the balance off.
That's the point.
Exactly.
And so if you find this thing where you're balanced out and like you're being, and not to say that vulnerability, I think when we talk about vulnerability and all these things, people might think we make it like it's easy. It's not easy.
No.
You have to lean into what's difficult, though.
Man.
If you don't lean into what's difficult, then you never get to the actual easy part that you're talking about. I'm sure that all that easiness that you're experiencing now, you're 5 years in, right? Yeah. There was some difficulty within that 5 years.
Definitely. You know what, bro? I kind of painted a slightly false picture. I call it easy because I'm talking about something that I had intentional thoughts and a will to practice towards until I got it, and then once I got it, like continue to refine it. So the thing that I'm calling easy, it really takes a lot of effort, and it's taken a lot of effort, and it still will take a lot of effort.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, bro, like it's bro, man, I get sick of apologizing, bro. I get sick of apologizing, especially about the same things from time to time, because I was like, damn, I get tired of myself for repeating things.
But
that
if
I
you're
may not wanna
apologizing for
repeat.
the same things, you're not really being intentional, because intentionality would tell you that I need to stop that said thing. So I don't have to continue this road. Like, let me actually work on the thing. Let's be vulnerable and open about the thing that I have to keep apologizing for. If you don't do that, then yeah, you're going to keep apologizing because you're not doing the work.
In a utopian society, yes,
Yeah.
that would be a general response that would like be the umbrella to all that. But situations vary.
True.
So situationally, when I say apologize over and over, I'm not necessarily talking about apologizing about something that maybe she's even directly offended about. It's just maybe a commitment that I made, but I'm committing to something that she also knows is going to be difficult for me to upkeep, but I'm striving towards trying to be better, you know? So, it's not necessarily just apologizing about things that, like I say, are maybe directly offensive towards her or she's directly affected or whatever.
Right.
But in those instances where she is directly affected, just being really just man enough, bro, like to be like, damn, I messed it up, or man, I was out of line, I was out of pocket. I try to apologize as quick as possible. So like those are just little things that I just kind of been practicing just throughout our relationship.
I don't want to even say you're trying to apologize, because that's kind of reducing what you're actually doing. And what you're actually doing is taking accountability.
Yeah, taking accountability.
And that's that's even bigger than apologizing, because anyone can say I'm sorry.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that's technically an apology, right?
For sure.
That don't mean you have to mean it or that the behavior is going to change. Said behavior needs to change for the apology to actually mean anything.
Right.
And so I would say I would applaud you for being intentional in saying, hey, I'm taking accountability as your significant other that I messed up on this, whatever it may be.
Sure.
And then I'm assuming that the behavior probably changes after that. Now, if you're not, then shame on you. But I would assume that if you're apologizing, then you're being intentional about everything that comes thereafter. So, yeah.
And when I say I'm apologizing, let me also be clear that when I say apologize, it is exactly what you just said, which is I'm assuming that my apology is going to be accompanied by changed behavior.
Exactly.
Most people just say they apologize just verbally, and there is no actual change in behavior at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I say it, I really do mean that I put some sort of actual effort towards adjusting, changing some sort of way. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to clarify that, because again, that's one of those things that can easily be kind of just misconstrued or just misassumed, you know.
So, what's the game? I'm curious too, because I want to get to the 5-year mark where of marriage, right? At some point in my life, I want to get to the 10-year mark, the 20-year mark. So, what's the road look like? How do you get to from 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 and on, so on and so forth to the 10? You said the time one of y'all croak. What do you think that the formula is for that, if there is one?
Wake up early and keep eating your Wheaties, boys. It's a hard road ahead.
I don't know that this is related to relationships. It sounds more like a workout.
I always kind of preference things for like in my experience, because I know different people have different experiences, situations, or whatever. But in my opinion, the thing that would make a relationship as simple as possible and give it the most longevity is you gotta at least have the same worldview, bro. Like the good books say, bro. How can
approach.
two people walk together if they don't agree?
Becky, do you agree?
How can two people walk together in the same direction?
So how deep you get into worldview? You got to be more specific, because people might not understand that. That's very
It
broad.
depends on the person, but for me, like it's a make or break. Like I can't marry nobody that has a differing worldview than me, because again, like it's going to create a bridge in between us. Like at some point, something is going to happen to where we're going to have to compromise. And I know compromise in 2024 sounds like a good word, and in most instances you can find scenarios where it may be good, but in this scenario,
in smaller scenarios, in smaller things, like on the list that you're talking about, that would have to be more like in the minutia of the list. It can't be like the major things on the list.
which part?
So when you're talking about compromise, some things really can't be compromised. Like I do agree with that.
That
So
would be one for me.
yeah, okay. I got you.
Worldview is one, because the worldview is gonna speak to the psyche. It's gonna speak to how a person thinks and how a person sees and perceives the world.
Right.
And that's very important to me. Like because we can't possibly have much to do or discuss
Or build.
build.
Yeah, for real.
If we don't even see things the same, and I'm not interested in trying to make you see things like I see them. Nah, man, that's God's work. So we gotta have the same worldview for one, and then from there, just being intentional about being honest, bro. Honest, open, transparent, and really just like saying what you want. Bro, that clip from last week,
Or a few weeks.
like-
A few weeks. We've been at it. Yeah, it's about
mean,
two. It's like,
yeah,
oh, you talking about
yeah,
from 60? Yeah, from 60. Yeah,
what episode was that?
that was episode 60.
59,
Yeah,
60, okay.
Yeah.
So that clip from episode 60, bro, is at about 30,000 views. And it's been kind of going crazy because, and a lot of people been commenting as for saying stuff like, yeah, man, that's right. All I was saying was that the real part of the game is being honest, bro. Like,
That's it. Yeah.
honesty, the truth be funnier than a lie more often than not. That's why you try to lie, to make the lie sound manageable, because the truth kind of
It's
be like
crazy.
Man,
Yeah,
tell them you just did what with who and
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
So
Really, that whole episode that's really all it was, is just telling people like you really just need to be upfront, honest, and
I'm
open.
telling you, bro.
That's literally it. It's really, to be honest though, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
The road. I mean, fellas, and this is y'all. I'm talking to y'all again. They probably like, man, all they do is bash men. Not really, because we need to be talking about this stuff. Men be talking about the most man stuff ever. Like,
really giving you game. Really,
to be honest,
real game.
yeah, like to be honest, man, if you really think about it, the road is a lot smoother if you're just honest, because you might have some bumps and stuff in the road, but that part is not going to take as long to get over. Now, if you're lying, you might have a stretch where it's great, and then boom, 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 and then you might have another stretch where it's great, and then here you are again. It's like a repetitive thing. But if you just tell the truth, you kind of clear the pathway to kind of experience some real cool stuff. I've found that it's not easy to get to, because it's easier to kind of just withhold truths or lie, but not really.
Yeah.
If you look at the full, I say this word, someone makes fun of me for this word all the time, but in totality, if you look at everything in totality, like really gauge how much of a percentage of that was great because you were honest and how much of it was lies. If it was lies, then you really didn't have a great experience. But if you just were honest, you might see like this small little part that's kind of rough because you're trying to figure stuff out. But then you got this long stretch where it's great. Like you're 5 years in, right? That stretch, there's probably a part where most of that is pretty good. Yeah, you had your ups and downs because it's day-to-day stuff. But overall, I wouldn't gauge that you would say your relationship was great or was bad. I think you would say it was great. Would you not?
Man, I started off with the honesty, bro. I was trying to be
there you
honesty that I say honesty. I was trying to be so honest that I like ran her away. Because I'm thinking in my mind, what my boy Tommy Lee Jones say, man, you whoever that was, you can't handle the truth. Like,
oh, you can't handle, yeah.
That was him. Whoever that was.
Jack Nicholson. Yes, there we go.
You
Yeah,
can't handle the truth. So that's been my assumption the whole time, and so. Because I assumed that most people can't handle the truth, I would just lie, like lie when I thought it was necessary.
So are you still lying when you can prove when they can't, or are you still lying when they can't prove it?
From time to time.
Okay.
But mainly then I would lie if I thought it was necessary. Never really lying with the intent to be facetious
or harm,
deceptive, or harm, or like not. I guess if you lying, you intend to be deceptive, but not to be necessarily harmful or facetious or whatever.
So what's the roadmap for 20, 30, 40 beyond? Like, what do you think? Because I mean, I know I always say it's the glue. We talked about this before. I always say it's those intangibles. But what do you think the recipe is for longevity?
Consistency. It's not a 30, 50, 100 step process. 3, 4, 5 steps, and keep doing it over and over. It's a rinse and repeat. It's a people get mixed up in the sauce whenever you keep trying to add new components or keep trying to modernize or make stuff, overcomplicated.
Reinvent the wheel, basically.
Bro, we ain't reinventing nothing. We doing the same thing that always worked, and we gonna keep rinsing and repeating. Ain't no need to switch up. I found that the simple way has been the best way in my experience. So just keep repeating it, bro.
Becky, do you have any advice for longevity? She's like, boy, I don't know about no damn longevity. Wait, you know what I don't know about Becky? I don't even know if you're in a relationship. Whoa. Becky got a boo.
That's what it sounds like.
I'm happy for you, Becky.
That's how you say yeah without saying yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Come on. I hope he's wonderful.
So what is Mr. Becky like?
Mr. Becky.
She ain't giving no clues on who he is, what he got.
I'm gonna tell you, we shot this thing for a long time. I ain't never seen no Mr. Becky, so I have no idea. Becky, the photographers are always the ones that can hide the most stuff.
Man, well, you can't be.
They do all the edits
if you don't know how to hide some stuff.
So we ain't gonna see Mr. Becky.
All right, well,
But if Mr. Becky was not intentional or open, honest, and transparent, how would that work out for you? Is that what? Okay, and that's what you're looking for, or that's what you have. One of the two. She ain't gonna tell.
Bro,
I'm gonna try to get her.
The women that ain't looking for that, the women that it would go for, bro. Come on,
you don't want them.
Come on now.
You don't want them.
Come on now, bro.
You don't want them. It's too surface.
Those are the ones that you see advertised, plastered, marketed all over social media. Mm-hmm. And so you start, you know what I'm saying? You start desiring those chicks, and
you desire something you're never gonna have.
Yeah, bro,
it's not obtainable. Yeah. Even if it is, it's not.
Sinking sand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
so before we close out of here, what words do you have for the people? What does Kendrick want to tell the people? It's always me telling them advice. You give us some advice.
My advice to the people is just, continue to be honest. I know I worded that real weird for a lot of y'all because I started with the word continue, assuming that y'all been honest this whole time. But I said I was going to be nice today. I wasn't going to be
I'm not going to be nice. They've been lying.
I know they've been lying.
To themselves and others.
I'm sure.
Yes.
But yeah, man. Just, try to be honest, man. Honesty is key. Transparency is key. Say what you want. And that'll really take you far in life, boys and girls.
My advice is going to be similar to what it always is. Stand in it. I think that being open, like you said, being open, honest, and transparent. I'm assuming that's the season that we're in with this show, is that we are in a season of giving you all knowledge that actually will help you in your real life. Like being honest, open, transparent is probably what I'm hanging on, because that's what I've experienced most recently in my life, is that is what's been most successful. I have had like literally zero drama in my life. And it's really because I've just been straight up to the point. Like, this is what serves me. This is what does not serve me. This is where I'm at in my life. This is what I will accept. This is what I will not accept. And to be honest, man, like, to tell you all the truth, that's probably the best way you could ever move. It might seem scary at first. It was, because you don't know what the reaction is going to be. But we're so worried about other people's reactions. Don't worry about that either. You got to live in your truth. You hear people say that a lot. No, I'm living in my truth. But I kind of know what that means now. I've never really known what that meant until recently. And living in your truth, honestly, is just being true to self and being honest about what it is that you want, who you want to be with, how you want to do it, whatever you want to liken that to. Just live in that truth and be okay with that. And whatever comes from that, I would tell you, it's probably going to be more positive than negative, because you're living in your truth. So that's my final piece on that.
Well, bro, I would be willing to say that most people probably want to be able to do that, but when they look at how much they would have to unpack, unlearn, undo, that's the scary part.
Well, then you got to grow.
Man, now that's when you start talking about different mountains and obstacles.
You got to evolve. And you got to, but if and we're going to get out of here, but if you're talking about mountains and obstacles, every mountain you got to take one step in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. So that's the same thing through life. You got to pace yourself. You're not going to grow overnight like that. It's not. I think people hear exponential growth and they think that means exponential growth in the stock world could take 3 years. That's exponential growth still. So you still got to grow slowly. You got to take your time with it. It's not going to happen overnight. But if you don't start, then it never happens.
We're also talking about a mountain built on lies. Boy, them footsteps.
Well, then you got to. Well, then you got to start. You got to start somewhere.
Sure.
You better start cleaning the house. That's all you can do. But
absolutely,
give me your handles and we'll get out of here.
At K.409. Look me up on IG. Also on IG, Telling on Myself Podcast, or Telling on Myself Pod at Telling on Myself Pod.
You know what? And if you need photos, you should hit Becky up, because she's really good, and she does our videography too. And Becky, it's like at BCKYSLIM. SLM. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No vowels. Okay. There you go. If you need photography, videography, she's amazing. She's been helping me out for a very long time, and I think she's dope, so I want to shout her out.
Becky is absolutely amazing. I can vouch for it. I want to shout out to, and also my TikTok is
Wait a minute.
AJL_409.
That sounded like Taylor Swift's Grammy speech. Like, he's the one to advertise.
409.
You know where we are at The Prophetic Pod, www.thepropheticpod.com. Put your email in. We'll send out a newsletter. We're going to be ramping that thing up, merch, all that stuff too soon. Anyways, blah, 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 blah. No, thank you. As always, if you listen to this podcast, wherever you are, we appreciate the listen. We appreciate the support, the comments, the likes, the views for him, for me, for us. It's been great. So continue to do so. We'll continue to grow. Y'all grow and evolve. Be more vulnerable. Be more open. Be more transparent. Go find your happiness. All right, bye.
Adios. And keep those comments coming. Come on now. We know you got it in you. Send us some comments. He can do that.
We prophetic.